Good evening out there, fathers. It's John. It's 9:29 p.m. Monday, October 3rd. And here I am in banned fatherland. This is to all the fathers out there. I know there's a lot of depressed young fathers. I'm going through something myself. I mean, I've been accused of by my estranged wife of brandishing a weapon at them while I was uh, I don't know. I never seen it while I was cleaning it, menacingly cleaning my weapon, which I actually don't do in front of them because I'm afraid of accidental discharge. So I'll clean the weapon when there's nobody here. So I don't know how. What happened was in my situation. Uh, uh, my child was not being brought to school. Okay. She had excessive absences when she went to one school, K to 6. In her last 2 years, she had a lot of absences. And one of the teachers, when I went to pick her up, when she was going home on a half day sick again, said, "Your daughter has excessive absences and something needs to be done." Now I'm sitting there like, "What do you mean excessive absences?" And I got a school record. And other parents are going to be surprised at it. At 1 year in 2021, she had 11 absences and 3 latenesses. And a lot of people will say, well, that's really not a lot. Well, it gets worse. You see, because when I'm sitting over there trying to keep the peace in the house, but yet I have to discipline my child to get her to school. A father is on the horns of dilemma of angering everybody around them because they feel if you discipline your child and you're male now, you're being racist, uh, transphobic, violating the child's rights. I heard such nonsense. I was absolutely laughing. That's what I heard today. Now, the second year, this is reality now. She's out 16 days. Okay, 16 days, and she's late 3 days. Now, 4 more days in a year, CPS would have been called. So I forced her to go to school on January 24, 2022, after her mother gave up in frustration, walked out the door, and left me to take her to go to school. I said, no problem, I'll take her to go to school. But my daughter was giving us a hard time, so I disciplined her. I said, look, you got to go to school or you're going to cause us problems. And I know it's not your fault, but it's the blame of your mother because you say your toe hurts, she lets you stay home. When you're feeling a headache in school, half a day, I got to go pick you up. Now I have text and everything. I got that all covered. I have all the absences. I have all the texts of my daughter asking me to pick her up. So it's pretty much shows that my wife was engaging in child neglect. So when my wife got agitated when I told her we had to be on school on time, she started cursing me out. I told her, look, I'm not going to bother you. You take yourself to school. I'm not going to be in that car with you in that kind of state. I want to relax. I want to die in peace. And unfortunately, there's a side effect. When somebody does that to you and they're no longer there, it's not that bad. But the only thing is my daughter, who I love very much. Now they're trying to they're going to try to put a wedge between me and my daughter. I mean, her family members went as far as to pretend they were my daughter today. And then I realized it wasn't my daughter that was talking to me, texting to me. And I said, why can't we talk on the phone, which she likes to do, or she'll go on to me on Messenger. My daughter never likes to use text. And I know my daughter's speech patterns. It wasn't her. It was my wife's family members acting like a bunch of pricks. And that's going to my lawyer now of 40 years. So he's going to see that. They're trying to inflict some kind of mental cruelty to a person like me. I've been a peace officer for 6 years. What she did is she went to family court in the morning on September 23rd. She told the judge she wanted a petition for an order of protection, and then when the judge asked, well, on what grounds, she couldn't produce anything. Dismissed with prejudice. When it's dismissed with prejudice, that means that's it. You're not going to come back to any court and file these frivolous orders of protection against your husband. We also have to protect the father's rights as well as the child. You cannot go to any other court. Well, that didn't seem to sink in because she didn't know what the hell she was doing, and the people that were advising her had little to no sense to know what they were doing either. So she went into criminal night court and tried to file over there. Well, they rejected her over there. The next following day, now this shows you how malign she was after being told not to do this. She went back to family court and tried to file a more substantial claim. And they rejected that. So what that means, when the police, 5 police came over the house before they found out it was rejected, and they seized my license, my gun license, and my gun in New York. Now they have to give it back. But one problem at a time. I'm not really worried about that. That will be handled, and that's a done deal. That's a different situation. Now the problem is, if your wife or soon-to-be ex-wife files, how do we say, a false order of protection and tries to act on it maliciously after the court has ordered her not to do it, regardless if she knows how to read the paper or not, dismissal with prejudice means you cannot go and file in any other court this fictitious claim. But New York being New York, they decided, hey, we can take this guy's gun. You know, they think they're being heroes by taking guns from a peace officer. The next couple of days later, the sheriff comes to my house and gives me a summons. I go, is there any order of protection against me? No, there never was. It's not over yet, not by a long shot. Now, she filed for custody and visitation rights. She wants money. She made several mistakes. And unfortunately, I'm not going to discuss those mistakes, but she did it, and it's actually probably going to cost her something. What I found out, if you perjure yourself on a order of protection and they reject it, and you try to do it again, and you trump up charges, that's a felony. A D-class felony. That's up 7 years in prison and about maybe five years probation. No, 7 years in prison with 5 years probation, and she'll probably lose her job. Now, what do I do? After that initial temporary restraining order is, say, dismissed, you can go see your kid anytime. There's nothing they can do about it. And that's it. But the reason why I don't do it is because I really don't want to stress out my kid. And these people are trying to weaponize my child by making these odd claims that they're my child, and they're talking about kids' rights. Kids have no rights. You are a minor. You are 12 years old. You're under the jurisdiction of your parents, and everything that child does is the parents' responsibility. Now, when she filed a custody visitation hearing, I'm allowed to go file a cross petition saying that I want to take my child back because she's not taking him to school. Now, the clerk that was there at the petition, she didn't understand, but the older male clerk. You see, this is the problem with men. The women in the court system have a bias, and it shows. Okay? You are the enemy if you got a pair of testicles. So when you go to the court and try to file a petition, you request a male officer to take your deposition when you file in a petition. Because if a woman's there, I'm sorry, they're too biased. And it shows. Well, anyway, the man gave me took my name and said ACS is going to call you. And sure as I got home, ACS called me about my case. And I gave them the absences, and they turned around and said, she's at the borderline right now of them going to take my child away. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'll get custody because of the fictitious order of protection she put on me. They might take my daughter away from both of us. And then she's got these ghoul relatives who thinks it, these ghoul liberal relatives who think because they learned a few terminology in liberal college that they have the right to prevent my daughter from talking to me. No, no, you're in violation. You are in violation. So within about 2 weeks comes my hearing at the judge why I want immediate custody. And I got proof. And the school whom she goes to is also concerned because the absences came hot and heavy and nobody did anything about them. She blamed me. I'm the guy who said bring her to school and stop going there late, but it's my fault. Well, anyway, tomorrow's going to be a little surprise for them. And you guys out there, don't give up hope. If you want to talk to me, you could talk to me anytime you want. There's too many fathers right now sitting in empty apartments or empty houses, and they don't know what the fuck happened. They work every day. They do what they're supposed to do every day, and they do everything so right, and everything turns out so wrong. I honestly think that people who are over emotional should not be allowed unless they have absolute proof to file an order of protection. Domestic violence, a report where they're arrested for beating up their wife, that's a valid order of protection. But if you're filling out frivolous orders of protection against your husband so you can play a little game of watch me manipulate my husband with my child, you're actually endangering the poor woman behind you who's been probably getting her ass kicked every day. And it needs to stop. And fathers need to have a say. The court cannot kick the fathers out and just say, that's it, goodbye, and the father did nothing wrong. Can't do it. I'm living proof of that. So if you're feeling downtrodden and you got no hope, hope is here. You want to talk to me? I'll go on the live stream and talk to you all night long if you need it. And just put it in the comments. If you want to talk, we'll talk. Do not fall into that gloomy area that everything's hopeless and things are bad and things aren't looking good for you. It's just the sadness of you missing your child. And the woman might feel that she has an advantage over you, but it's only temporary. It's only temporary. If she's the one that's really done something wrong and you can prove it, like I have, because I started videotaping what she was doing with my daughter, and they just don't realize how important that is to the judge. The judge doesn't want to hear hearsay. He wants to see proof. I got the proof. What does she got? He called me a name in 1998. you know. And then you also have to talk to your child, because I'm sorry, these women today, maybe not all women, but some of them who are particularly vicious, they will tell your child to lie on their behalf. And they don't realize that if you feel that way, you think your child is being coerced, the court's going to take the child into a room with a psychiatrist and they're going to find out. So stand strong. All you guys out there in New York, you need to talk to somebody. You can talk to me, I'll listen, and I'll try to help you out as best I can. And on that, I'm out of here. Stay strong, brothers.